One thing that challenges me so much in the last years is how can I be a father and a founder at once in the same person? The hardest lesson is that you can only be in one place at one time, fully present. So while I'm sitting here talking to you, I cannot clean the dishes, type reply to an email, or play with my kids, because my full attention and presence is with you right now, and nothing can change that. And so the real challenge is that is not a scheduling issue. It's not a multitasking issue. It cannot be solved by merely doing more things at once, because that means you're not fully present for either. And that way, it is not a flaw of our lives. It is our life. And so the question is, how can I be present as a father, as a husband, as a founder, without losing myself and losing everybody I love in the process? So I want to share a few thoughts that I've learned over the last 5 years, running a business and being married, and then for the last 3 years of being married, being a father, and being a founder. So buckle up. There are a few ideas that I have prepared today that I will take you along on the journey. Why do I need to make this video? Because so many online are not talking about it. It is almost a blind spot in business, an online business, in online entrepreneurship, that makes me a bit sad, because it is a deep understanding that we need to have, and that actually is a benefit if you really understand it. Once I figured it out, and I'll share in a minute what I figured out, it actually made me better as a father, as a husband, and as a founder. And there are going to be a few surprising takeaways that I actually did not believe would be true, and turned out to be actually making the biggest difference. Most content online is focused on founders with no kids, or for founders that don't show up in the family. Sadly, they're more than I want to be true, that don't show up at home. So neither one of this is us. Agreed? I mean, that's kind of the point, right? We need to have a different playbook to be a father and a founder, because we cannot run the playbook that Alex Hormozi is teaching you with, oh, it doesn't matter who needs weekends, you have 24 hours in a day, 8 you need to sleep, so that leaves you with 16. We have 16 hours, but we don't have a full focus on business as the teenage founders that have nothing else but time. Being a founding father is a strength that we can work together and use as our advantage, rather than feeling torn apart by that. The constraints that we have, and that's a lesson that I struggled with for a long time, is that constraints seem to be a bad thing, because it means that I can't do something. While the contrary is true. Why can't a train drive so fast? Because it's constrained to the train tracks? Why is it so much faster to drive on the highway or freeway or Autobahn, as we like to call it in Germany, than to drive in city traffic? Because the Autobahn is constrained to one straight path. It has exits and like entrances. Those are the constraint, though. You can't get off anywhere you like. There is not a turn every 50 meters. The exits are apart by a kilometer, 2 kilometers. And if you're driving in the left lane, you're not situated to get off because there is an exit path. Why am I telling you that? Because the constraints move you forward faster. Because you don't need to think and question about every exit that you're in city traffic, and then you're stuck with people that don't even know what they're doing. You can just focus in and be like, all right, I have 100 more exits that I don't care about. That means I can just plow forward. This gives you the ability to act with a lot more urgency because you don't need to get distracted by possibilities that you're no longer open for. That's why I also started to observe more and more that fathers and have a lot more urgency to them than if you don't have kids yet and if you're single. And there's also another statistic that I always like with that. It's that as soon as a man gets married, his wealth is night and day from being a single. Maybe not in the first year. Over time, though, it shows that married couples have a lot more wealth than single people. Because there is a difference in action and attitude, and you're two acting as one because you committed 100% to each other. So how do we do this now for business? And there I came up with a framework I call the coin of presence. It has two sides. And the interesting part with a coin is you can't see both sides at once. No matter how hard you try. If I look at this side, I can't see the other side. If I turn it around, I can't see the other side anymore. Like even at this angle, you can only see one side. And that's the power of focus with your presence. That if you're doing your business, the business side is open, is on top, and you're 120% committed to your business. As soon as you get home, your family first, because you don't no longer see the business side of the coin. And so this gives you the chance and the ability to make the difference and to have the clarity in front of your eyes to be like, okay, so I have only one thing I can do at any moment. And so this is also why I actually was surprised that when I moved out of my home office into an office that's only dedicated for the business, my attitude changed. Because now I was able to really do full forward on the coin of presence. Because when I'm at home, I no longer have the ability to go into the office and check emails or do things because I'm home. So I put my phone away, my laptop is in my bag, and I'm there for the family. When I get to the office, I don't have kids knocking on my door. While I love that they can just come in and be with me, I'm not fully focused on my business because my clients want my attention too. And so if I'm in home office, I'm constantly in the fight for the attention. And so having the coin of presence and understanding that gives me the ability to do both 100% and not 80%. And then the other gets 20% or the other way around. And one more lesson that I learned or that I'm observing more and more is that my kids are watching what I'm doing. And so it's no longer just about building a business. It is building a life that they can observe me do and act. It is them growing up, seeing me work, seeing my work ethic, seeing how I work with people, how I communicate. And that is also a whole nother sphere of influence that I get to have that makes me better as a father and founder. And so I want to encourage you that being a father and founder is not pulling in two opposite ends. It is knowing when to do what and working with the constraints that gives you urgency to act even stronger than your competition in the market, than the other business owners around you, because you can act with the responsibility, with the power of being a founding father. Because you're a founding father of your family tradition, of your family values, of your family business. And that has a core that nobody else can jump across. And so you are the same man in two positions. And both positions feed into the same person you are today. And so I want to encourage you to actually step it up for both and learn to carry the weight of both on your shoulders, because you're a founding father building the foundation of your family.